In the quiet, rural area of Arlington, Florida, there are certain things that locals whisper about, but never speak of openly. Things that linger in the darkness like shadows that never quite fade. For a long time, people here went about their lives with little worry. But everything changed one night when a man driving through the woods experienced an encounter that would haunt him forever. He had been driving alone down a stretch of road passing through the forested outskirts of Arlington, his headlights cutting through the thick darkness. There was nothing unusual at first, just the hum of the car's engine and the occasional rustle of leaves stirred by a gentle breeze. But as he neared a sharp bend in the road, something changed. His headlights flashed over something that wasn't just another tree or animal. Out of the shadows, a figure appeared. A figure that didn't belong. It was tall, too tall to be human, and stood upright like a person. But its movements were erratic and unnatural. The creature had the general appearance of a werewolf, but not in the way you might expect. It was lanky, with elongated arms and legs that seemed almost too thin for its towering body. Its fur was dark, matted, almost as if it had been left to rot under the weight of the years. But there was something else. Its eyes. They were not the eyes of a typical animal. They glowed faintly, a pale, unsettling light that reflected the car's headlights as the creature moved. The driver slammed his foot on the brakes, his heart racing. He had no time to process what he was seeing before the creature darted across the road in a blur, its movement so fast and fluid that it felt like something out of a nightmare. The creature disappeared into the woods without a sound, leaving the man sitting there in stunned silence, unsure of what just happened. Was it real? He didn't know. He wanted to convince himself it wasn't, but something told him that what he had seen wasn't a figment of his imagination. He quickly drove away, but the feeling of dread didn't leave him. It lingered as he made his way home, his eyes flicking nervously to the rearview mirror, half expecting the creature to be there, following him. Later, the man would learn that this wasn't an isolated incident. Others in the area had experienced strange things too, though most were reluctant to talk about it. Among them was a young girl who lived on the small farm, not far from the woods where the creature had been seen. Her family had always lived in the area, and like most locals, they had heard the rumors about strange happenings, but nothing had prepared her for what she would experience. One evening, she was out in the yard, feeding the chickens in the pen near the shed. The wind was still, and everything felt too quiet, too empty. That's when she heard it, scratching. At first it sounded like a small animal, maybe a raccoon or something else, trying to get into the shed. But when she investigated, she found nothing. The scratching continued, rhythmic and persistent, as if something or someone was trying to break in. Confused and a little unnerved, she went inside to ask her father about it. He dismissed it at first, but the strange noises didn't stop. Night after night, they echoed from the shed, disturbing the peaceful quiet on their farm. Then, one night, as the father was outside doing chores, he saw something that would make him reconsider everything he thought he knew about the woods surrounding his home. He was working near the shed when he saw it, a tall, slender shadow moving among the trees. It wasn't just a trick of the light. The shadow too defined, and it didn't belong. It was like the figure was taller than anything he'd ever seen in these woods. Unnaturally so, it was slender, almost too much so, with long, gangly limbs. The father's heart stopped for a moment as he watched the figure move swiftly through the trees. Its dark form a stark contrast against the pale moonlight. It reminded him of the stories he had heard in his youth, of creatures that stalked the woods at night. But those were just stories, right? There was no such thing as a shadowy, man-like creature lurking in the woods. But the sight of it made him rethink everything. The fear that had once been relegated to folk tales and whispers now felt very real. He watched in disbelief as the shadow disappeared into the woods, just as the creature had done in the road encounter. That night, after hours of silence, he went inside, his mind racing. He tried to convince himself that it was just his imagination. But when he saw the fear in his daughter's eyes, he knew he had to tell her what he had seen. He admitted that he had witnessed something unnatural. A tall, shadowy figure moving among the trees, just like she heard the scratching. The young girl's fear intensified as the father spoke, confirming her suspicions that something was wrong in the woods. Whatever it wasn't just a random animal or a trick of the mind. It was something else, something darker. From then on, the farm felt different. The air seemed heavier, and every rustling sound in the night made them jump. The scratching sounds from the shed grew louder and more frantic, as if something was desperately trying to escape. They never saw the shadowy figure again, but the feeling of being watched never left them. And so, the locals of Arlington, Florida remained uneasy. Strange occurrences continued to happen in the surrounding woods. People talked in hushed tones about the creature. How it was too fast, too unnatural to be anything other than something from another world. No one could explain it, but everyone knew one thing for sure. The shadowy figure had appeared on the road, and the one that haunted the farm wasn't the last of its kind. In the years that followed, Arlington became a place that visitors would avoid. A place where people still spoke of the tall, slender figure that had appeared and disappeared without a trace, leaving only fear in its wake.